This is Joe Betar.
This is Ramon Robles.
And we talk to fascinating people about their love of hunting, shooting sports, and the outdoors. This is Hunting Matters. Willard Franklin III is the CEO of the 4W's fishing team and 4W Outdoors. What makes Willard unique is the fact that he's taking underserved communities out hunting and fishing for their first-time experiences. Ramon and I had the chance to talk to him today, and we learned a lot. We learned a lot about what he does, why he does it, and why it's important to the future of hunting. So I'm just curious, who is Willard Franklin, and how did he get started in the outdoor world?
Well, for me, it's a pretty simple answer. I started fishing 57 years ago with my dad.
Wow.
And I've been around for a while.
Me too.
So he taught me and gave me my passion for the outdoors. My dad has been passed now for 32 years. Mm-hmm. He's Willard. So I'm Willard Franklin III. My dad was Willard Jr., and his dad was Willard Sr., and my son is Willard IV. So my dad passed away about 30 years ago. My brother, which was my other outdoor guy, passed away about 8 years ago now. And so I'm like, my goodness, I have all the skill and knowledge to go outdoors, and I no longer have my family to go. So I decided on my own to start teaching other people and then having them enjoy what I've learned about the outdoors, hunting, shooting, fishing, all that stuff. And I parlay that into actually some grants for this year in March to do exactly what we just said.
And Willard, did I've got kids now that are in their late 30s, mid 30s, late 20s. Was it hard to get your kids involved in the outdoors, or did they just always grow up in that world? Or did you just drag them away from the television and the tablets and the phones?
Well, a couple of things I've learned about my kids and the other kids. When they was younger, they went with me because they had no choice. If we left, me and my wife left home, they had to go with us. So I just assumed, and by being my age now, learning about my kids and outdoors and that stuff, they didn't get my passion for the outdoors. Because we took them, they enjoyed it. They enjoyed fishing. They enjoyed going out, nature, hiking. I didn't take them hunting, but I took them shooting. But they enjoyed all that. Yeah. But they didn't get my passion to do what I do.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I was able to get them some big checks. My daughter actually is on a national boater safety campaign.
Okay.
And got paid a lot of money. And with that money, she was able to get her 2 Airbnb. So I'm like, okay, now, what about your daddy, Wendy? My daughter's Wendy. She's a pretty girl, much prettier than me. And she's the national spokesperson for national boater safety.
Okay.
And she did quite a few of their ad campaigns 2 or 3 different times. And she, like I said, she parlayed that. That's extra money in her pocket. So she ended up getting her 2 Airbnbs and furnishing it with her check. How about that?
That's awesome. And do your kids as young adults, do they continue to be involved and participate in the outdoors?
Well, not at my level. No, yeah. I'll be honest. They'll go. I'll get now, and I have to be honest with you. The kids now are busy working and trying to create their own life.
Right.
And so, like I said, when they were younger, they had no choice but to go with it. But now, my daughter has 2 jobs. She's an entrepreneur. She has 2 Airbnbs, a lot of different moving parts. So I would get a few opportunities to take her outdoors. Same thing with my son. He works in retail, and he's for me, he's never around because y'all know I got to work. Like, oh my, retail, you work 7 days a week.
Sure.
From here till 9 p.m. So they don't get a chance to do as much outdoor activities as I do. Mm-hmm. But when I get an opportunity, I have to schedule them. I have to remember, although they're my kids, now I have to get on that calendar. So, but I can start taking my son. Fishing is straightforward for us. Hunting is a whole different animal. When I get an opportunity to go hog hunting, we got to pull the trigger. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't get a 2-week window on hog hunting. That's since changed now. I have property that I can hog hunt, so it's not as difficult when I get a call. Hey, Willard, we got a hog issue. You come over right now. And for me, I can circle my wagon and go. I call my son, let's go. We're working. I was like, oh my goodness.
Right.
So, but as kids get older, and mine are 30, 31, and 29. So we're around the same ballpark. They make it their own life right now.
Sure. Yeah, I completely understand that. But that's great that, your lifestyle and your circumstances allowed them to number one, hang with mom and dad, see what you guys do and share your passion. And, I know you hope the same for your kids, is that it'll come back around in future generations. Mm-hmm. And I have a son now that has a daughter, our first granddaughter, and he's starting to talk about, Dad, thank you. When do you think that we can start getting her outdoors involved? And I said, well, let's start with fishing and that sort of thing. But the same thing, they moved away. He's in the Navy. They got their own life. He's stationed in California. So it's not like he can just jump out of San Diego and just go hunting all the time. But he's trying to start getting her more involved in outdoor activities and that sort of thing. So that makes your heart feel good that, that they're I'm starting to see that coming back around and that sort of thing. And you're involved in a ton of stuff, which we're going to talk about, try to touch on most of it. But, people have seen you, and you and I have talked to each other in person and have seen your websites and that sort of thing. So you have the 4Ws fishing team, which you started, but you've also got 4Ws Outdoors. What is 4Ws Outdoors? What is the vision there? How did it start? Where's it going?
Well, like I said, we started a 4W fishing team, but just to showcase going outdoors fishing. But we started to delve into more hunting, outreach, teaching kids and youth all about the outdoors, and just having my fishing team brand or name out there. It confused people when I talked about hunting or just shooting sports. So I said, well, let me see what I can do. And so I started a nonprofit about 4 or 5 years ago which we call it 4Ws Outdoors. So that took away fishing team, hunting, shooting. We get invited to schools and stuff. But our 4Ws Outdoors nonprofit, we set it up to be able to do outreach, which we teach people. We do diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we do R3, recruit, retain, reactivate in the outdoors. So we teach hunting, shooting, fishing, boating, and water safety. And we've done that for the 4 years out of my pocket. We would reach 100 or so people. I've taught over 100 people out of my pocket out of duck hunt, for example. Who does that?
Yeah.
And how hard is it to teach? I say this: people that never duck hunt or never even went outdoors for as a hunting adventure from scratch. Hunter ed, shotgun time, gun safety, shotgun range time with the clays, and then actually take them duck hunting. And we did that 100 times. That's insane. Now we've taken groups deer hunting. We had a ranch in Fredericksburg that the landowner allowed us access to. He turned the ranch over to us, a high fish ranch with zebras and all kind of exotic. And we MLD 10 of his deer at 100 yards. Every one of our youth shot a deer. And even my mom at 80 years old shot, with our first hunting trip, shot her first deer right at 95 yards.
Wow.
With my Savage 270. And we harvested every deer we hit, which was, I didn't want to take 10 kids and not find 9 deer, then right. Flip the ranch owner, find them after me, or the coyotes or the buzzards. But we harvested all 10. We processed them, quartered them. We invited the game wardens over to talk to our youth. So not only with our nonprofit do we teach people how to hunt, shoot, fish, boat, and water safety, which is a great amongst itself, but we're always looking to mentor, intern, and put on our pro staff our youth that want a career in the outdoors: game warden, wildlife biologists, migratory bird specialists, land managers. We actually get scholarships for our youth for college. We have 2 scholarships for our 2 freshmen at Texas A&M. We have one at Prairie View A&M. Those 2 want to go into wildlife land management. Our freshman at Prairie View would like to become a migratory bird specialist. Not just kind of, and then my third one goes to Grand Canyon University that wants to become a game warden. She's going to do a ride along with the Texas State Park Police. So they trying to poach her. The Texas State Park Police is trying to poach her away from the game warden. So the agencies are competing for our youth because these are the right kids. These aren't kids who I think I want to be in game warden. They spend years in our program, and they are those right kids when they graduate.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I've seen some of the posts you have where on social media and things where you've mentioned some of these students, and it's really encouraging to see because we're all concerned. Those of us that are involved in the outdoors all the time, we're always concerned. Where's the next generation coming from? Are they getting exposure? Are they getting education? Are they even aware these opportunities are available to them? And we're going to talk about some of the barriers of entry into the outdoor world. For underserved communities here in depth here in just a minute. But the other thing, I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of picturing you almost like a college football recruiter. You're walking in and you're getting, because I know you work with adults as well as children and veterans and that sort of thing, but I'm help us understand how you engage these young people in getting involved. Do they find you? Is it you approaching mom and dad? Are you walking into the living room and giving a spiel? I'm just curious because you work with a lot of people, like you just said. They've never been outdoors.
So the way we get this done, and I'm going to share this, and I don't want to be the Lone Ranger doing this. So what I do is invaluable. Who's going to replace me and you?
Yeah,
you say to me, will our kids be the next? Will my son at Willard the fourth going to take the reign when I can no longer? I'm 60. Yeah. I get 10, 15 more years if I'm lucky to be doing this. And so what I do, we do what's called outreach. We do outdoor education days at schools, at churches, at community centers, and we go to trade shows. We go to parts of your events.
Right.
So we always looking for youth. The right people. So we standing there like, these people look like me over there. Who are they? What they doing at this event, at this show, at this school? They talk about they have my big boats in the background. I have my duck boat. I have my ducks flying. The gear, the guns and stuff. And like, and I have an entourage of people with me. And so people would come over and said, I never thought about duck hunting because I've never seen a duck hunter that looked like me.
Right.
Which is. And I, standing at a boat ramp at 4:30 in the morning, and nobody looks like you is not an easy thing to do. And there's nobody speak to you as well. And they all standing there with shotguns. How does that make you feel?
Right.
So I understand my mission to bring people that traditionally are underrepresented in the outdoor sports world. So to recruit them, I have to show them somebody that looks like them. They're not just talking about me, but women, young women. I take young women, 13, 14-year-olds, duck hunting. Mm-hmm. I just can't walk up to a 13-year-old girl and say, okay, let's go duck hunting. Like, sure. Mister, I don't hunt, let alone duck.
Right.
But we introduce them to all these people, let them see my videos, let them see the pictures, let them see what we do. We talk with the family. I can't take a 14-year-old girl anywhere without their parents being involved.
Right.
You see? So now I have to recruit not only the kid, I have to recruit the parents. I have to make it enjoyable, entertaining. So we take hunter ed first. Then, so we find our kids at our outreach events. Then we take hunter ed. Once we find the right kids that are actually truly interested, they come in to do our outreach events. Then from there, we do a school for 1,000 kids. And out of that 1,000 kids that we do an outreach event for, we may find 10 that's really interested, and then 5 that the parent will allow them to come to more events. If we're in a low income, driving to us is a difficulty. So once we get those kids, then we can mentor. I'll sponsor their hunter at $15. I'll make that happen. No big deal to me. Then from there, we need to go to the shotgun ranks, learn gun safety, shooting a shotgun, duck hunting we talk about now. So we're going to have to spend quality time understanding this shotgun, the way it works, the safety on, safety off, safety on, safety off, and then practice it on the ground, get it in the air. Then the parents sitting there like, okay, I'm going to drop Johnny off for Sandra, and I'm going to just, no, come on, grab a shotgun. Huh? What? What? I said, you're going to be participating too. You're not going to just sit in the chair. I definitely need people to help me with lunch and feed it after the fact.
Sure.
And that's not what, I have another group for that. But in order to get, and I'll stay with my 14-year-old girls, in order to get them involved, the parent has to drive them to the events. And so I'm going to include the parents as well. Mother, father, sister, brother. I don't care. So now I started with the young lady. Now I have her brother or her sister, mom and dad. And I will take the entire family on their very first duck hunt and be successful doing it.
You talked earlier.
So it's a lot of work going into it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you talked earlier about the R3 effort, the recruitment and retention and reactivation. Do you find that your success rates, because one of the things that's frustrating for me is we take these kids hunting or fishing and they go home, and more oftentimes than not, they don't have, for lack of a better word, a support system at home that wants to keep encouraging that activity or behavior, or they don't have the resources. So they had a great time hunting or fishing, but will they ever do it again, or will they continue it, even though they may have a great level of interest?
Mm-hmm. And so the way I overcome that, and I'll tell you this, 100, which this is a bold statement, and you can see, 100% of the people that we take on a duck hunt will go on a duck hunt the next year. 100%. That's a bold statement. And I talk to a lot of different organizations, and I get it. I don't take people on field trips. That's not what I'm about. I don't spend all my money to take them on a field trip. That's not me. You're going to learn a skill. I'm going to invite your family. I keep it affordable at that level. I'll tell you this is how I can make this happen. I can take a family duck hunting for $10 a person, and the kids under 17 are free. So it costs me $20. Don't tell my wife.
Okay.
I can take them duck hunting. I provide the shotgun, the shells. They bring their waders. I say, look, we need to get some waders to go duck hunting. Go on Amazon, order some waders for $60. You go to the stores, they are $150.
Right.
You order them from Amazon, your gear. Here's my jacket. Here's my camo shirt, hat. It's hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
So once they learn the skills of doing that, they're like, man, I want to do it again. But being able to duck hunt, where I duck hunt is Trinity River. I took 100 people duck hunting there. National Wildlife Refuge, they're one of our partners. And it's $10 to duck hunt. Come on now. $10? Who knows that? Number one. Then number two, you can jump in your kayak and go duck hunting without Willard. You can afford a kayak. Not expensive. You can rent one for the day, $60 or whatever. And you can do exactly what I just taught you, and that's what they did. I have a little $8,000 jumbo that's 43 years old that I rebuilt to take people duck hunting, groups of 4. But you can do that in your kayak. I have a $200 kayak in my backyard. I'll let somebody borrow. No big deal to me. You put your camo netting over it. You go up against the brush, shotgun, a few decoys, and you're duck hunting for very little money. And I'll tell you this, what I've learned about how it's so hard to get our youth and our families duck hunting, I get to hang out with some high-end people way higher than what I can afford. Now, we went on a private lease in Sealy, Texas, duck hunting, on a private ranch that is designed for duck hunting. It's 18 ponds that they built, rice ponds, just for duck hunting. And I said, well, sir, no offense, but how much does this cost to do something like this? He looked at me and said, $27,000, and he went back to duck hunting.
Wow.
I almost fell out the blind.
Sure.
I'm like, $27,000? Who's going to do that?
Yeah.
For a group of 5 men to go on a private lease, I guess you call it, for duck hunting. $27,000. You would divide it by 5 guys is $5,500 a person. Plus. Then you have to have a 4-wheeler. All the stuff to go along with that kind of deal. That's not something that I'm going to introduce my first-time duck hunters to or with. We can't afford that. Let alone what would it cost for an airboat guy to take you duck hunting?
Yeah,
a family of 4.
Yeah, I mean, you basically have laid out a roadmap for overcoming 2 of the biggest obstacles for anybody getting involved in the outdoor, which I hear all the time. It's too expensive, and I can't get access.
In Texas, come on. In Texas, how much of Texas is owned by somebody? 95%.
95%.
You better know somebody with some property. You have to know somebody with property. So one of my best partners is the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. I met with them. They asked me to help promote diversity in outdoors. I said, look, don't play with me. With no funding, they asked me to do it. No funding, but they gave me access, and I learned about the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They have 500 and something refuges, and they allow hunting at a percentage of them. And duck hunting is $10.
Yeah,
and so how much did it cost me to take 100 duck hunters at $10?
Sure,
you see,
yeah.
But the thing about companies, other organizations, state agencies, for me to take 100 duck hunters duck hunting, they had to do what? They had to buy a hunting license.
Yep.
They had to get a federal duck stamp.
Sure.
And for me, they go get a hunting fishing license because I don't play with my people.
Right.
They gonna have it. So that's $100. 100 times 100. 100 times 100 is what? 10 grand in conservation funding. Not mention shotgun shells, range time, shotguns, all the ancillary stuff that goes along with taking. We camped at the refuge. Nobody can do that. We have special permission to camp the night before Friday. So all the hurdles that we would have, I can't get a 14-year-old girl to show up, or boy, let alone, to show up to a duck hunt spot from Houston, Texas, that's an hour and a half away at 4:30 in the morning. Right. You have to leave Houston at 2, which is dangerous to leave Houston at 2 in the morning, on a Friday night. So they come in after school on Friday. They get there. When they get there, I let them in the refuge. We already hunker down. They singing campfire songs, cooking s'mores, having chili, setting up their tents, and in a private, secluded facility where the family's comfortable. Nobody gonna take your gear. Nobody else in there but us. We're the only people at this facility.
Yeah. And
because of what we do, you see, so we can do that for $10 a person versus $27,000 a person.
Yeah.
For 5 people, which is that's an obstacle, and so they learn how to do it, and then after that they can do it on their own with a small investment of a kayak.
Yeah, and I want, not that I'm blowing our own horn, that legislators and politicians and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Department of the Interior, et cetera, are listening to this podcast. But, I sit in these meetings and they talk about the state of the National Wildlife Refuge System and how it needs to be funds appropriated to upgrade the facilities or enhance access to these areas. And if you're listening out there, this is a prime example of why that we need that funding. And we need to hire people to go out there and make sure that these national refuges and these fish and wildlife managed areas are accessible to the public, strictly for this reason, if nothing else.
What I just said, just what you just said with U.S. Fish. I know the director of United States Fish and Wildlife. I got an award for my duck hunting for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They everybody wants more diversity in outdoors. The DEI and the R3 movement, recruit, all this stuff. It costs money. You see what I mean? But Willard, how do you do that? I just laid it out for you. Am I making that up? Am I telling you something? You see what I mean? And how many other refuges around Texas? Let's right here, Texas, right here. I can drive to them, take them to. But we got 50 other states, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So if they're listening, I know them. I know quite a few people in the system, and it's time for them to step up. Yeah, you want to get more people involved? Come on, call me. I'll tell you how it's done and show you exactly how they make it happen.
Well, when you said
we can't get more people,
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you're saying is the truth. You're speaking the truth. And when you line up that trip to the Virgin Islands, you just let Ramon and I know. We'll sign up as counselors for that trip.
Right. So actually, I'm actually working on a MOU with the United States Fish and Wildlife to do exactly what I just did. So to get back to our big story, we're setting a template in Texas to show the entire United States how it's done. And I'm not saying it's easy. By no means. It's not easy. But it's not a secret formula of making it happen. And I talk to states, agencies, the Fish and Wildlife Agency. I promote diversity in the state of Washington. We help recruit new candidates. But if you want to bring new people, women, underrepresented population, whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's hard, but you have to make it affordable, number one. Only put things in their hands. So, for example, my personal shotgun is a Winchester XS3. 10 years ago, it cost me $1,000. They probably $1,200 for XX4 now.
Right.
You think I'm going to give one like that to my first time shooters? No. They shoot my Mossberg 88. They were back then. They were $200. They $225 now. There's a pump action 12 gauge shotgun. I have 20 gauge shotguns. They look at it like, "Ooh, Willard, I like this shotgun. It only shoots one time. You got to pump it. You're not going to shoot me after it shoots one time. If you trip and fall or something like that." So it's gun safety, 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 safety.
Yeah.
But a $200 shotgun is more affordable than a $1,000 shotgun to get you started. Right.
Right.
And when I take them and teach them how to shoot that shotgun, when they come to the range next time, what do you think they show up with? Their very own shotgun. So I started with that entry level. It's a great gun. They'll they get the camo version for another $25 more, or they'll get the upgraded to $500 because they can afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
So not only am I bringing money to conservation, right? Mm-hmm. Conservation. I'm bringing, I'm actually selling gear and product.
Right.
So whatever I put in people's hands, I make sure that it's affordable. It's entry level, but good quality gear that they can replicate on their own without, you can't buy $4,000, $1,200 shotguns for your family.
Sure.
But you can get two $400 shotguns, and that's just the shotguns, the shell practice, all that stuff. So my template is to showcase good, great quality equipment that's reasonably priced that will last them for many, many years.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the future of hunting and conservation. Wildlife and habitat conservation, youth education and outdoor experiences, scholarships, and anti-poaching efforts are just a few of the programs supported by this organization. Monthly events, an annual convention, award-winning publications, networking opportunities, and valuable resources for hunting knowledge are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Houston Safari Club Foundation. If you're searching for a group of people dedicated to protecting the future of hunting, look no further. Join Houston Safari Club Foundation today at wehuntwegive.org or call 713-623-8844.
Are you interested in breeding exotic wildlife as a method of generating cash flow for your ranching operation? Wildlife Partners is an innovative wildlife conservation company that is the largest breeder, buyer, and seller of exotic wildlife in America. Let them show you how wildlife breeding and ranching can help secure the future of animal species while generating cash flow and substantial first-year tax deductions. Wildlife Partners serves more than 500 private landowners in Texas and numerous conservation-minded investors throughout the U.S. Non-landowners can also own wildlife. To learn more, go to wildlifepartners.com.
It's funny. No matter how well you know this land, you always seem to get lost in it. That's because it's your escape, your place to reconnect to nature and yourself. At Capital Farm Credit, we're proud to help people like you purchase recreational land where you can hunt, fish, four-wheel, or simply get lost in. To learn how we can help you secure land like this, visit CapitalFarmCredit.com. Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better.
Turn a gun you like into one you love. You'll shoot better with the Boyd's Hardwood Gun Stock. Upgrade your firearm to Boyd's and your gun will fit you better and look better. Boyd's uses only top-grade hardwoods because a hardwood stock performs. Boyd's gun stocks are engineered to fit precisely on its specified gun model. Their engineers have continued to perfect manufacturing methods since 1981. That's why you get far more gun stock for your money. Boyd's makes gun stocks for hundreds of gun brands and thousands of models. Shoot better today at boydsgunstocks.com.
I did a little research. I look at the annual, it's not annual, it's every few years. They have the National Survey of Fishing, Hunting, and Wildlife Association Recreation that comes out from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And they changed the methodology up a little bit this time around, but they looked at, they were looking specifically at diversity in the outdoors in some of their research. And I just want to run through some numbers real quick. In the U.S., there's 39.9 million anglers. Of that 39.9 million, there are 30 million white anglers, 6.5 are Hispanic, 4.5 are African American, and 2.2 are Asian American. And then on the hunting side, they claim there's a total of 14.4 million hunters, with 11.1 million of those people being white, 2 million Hispanic, 1.5 million African American, and 0.8 million being Asian American. And you talked to this earlier, you know, that there are those unrepresented communities out there. There's fewer white kids from hunting families that have been going into the woods over the past century, and it's tougher and tougher to recruit these kids from any background, but especially from these underserved communities. And so, you know, I knew there was some disparity between those populations. I didn't realize how wide the gaps were.
How wide it is,
yeah.
Right? You know, and for me in Texas, you threw out the number. I'm going to throw out the numbers to you. In Texas, the hunting population in Texas is 3.9% of all Texans.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it was a few million people.
Yep.
But so when I talk recruit, you see what I mean? So it's less than 4% of Texans actually have a hunting license. 4%, right?
Right.
So 96% of people are potential what? Outdoor people. So, you know, you talk to certain, you know, it don't matter if it's boy, girl, man, or woman. Some people just don't like hunting, period. Right? I'm not shooting a hog. I'm not shooting a deer. I'm not shooting a duck. They're pretty. They're animals. I'm not doing it. I get that. But out of that 4%, we have a 96% potential new outdoor people. But if I teach them, you know, so my wife, for example, she will not hunt. She will not. She will shoot all day long. She will plink, and she call it pinking. She'll shoot her 22 all day long. She's enjoyed the shooting sports.
Right.
Wonderful. She's getting outdoors, but she will not hunt. Right. But so I understand when I'm talking to people that I know 96% of the people that I would come into contact with, I can't hard sell them hunting. I get them to go fishing with me. You know, we're going to kill a fish. We do. We kill certain things, right? Then we harvest it and then we eat it. Oh my goodness, that was pretty good. So, let's go to the gun range. I'm soft selling everything to them.
Sure.
Then I let them see my hunting pictures. You can't walk up to strangers and pull my phone out and start showing them dead deer and hogs, blood coming out off of them. What would happen to most people?
Right. They'd be turned off.
You see, they'd be turned off. But we introduce them. You know, fishing people not as squeamish about. But once they go through our program, if I got to literally hook them through fishing, and they're like, wow, Willard, you know, I would like to do some more stuff. Okay, we go into the gun range. We teach you how to shoot the rifle. We teach you how to shoot the shotgun. Well, really? Why are you doing that? I said, well, I'm going to offer you an opportunity to go hunting. Well, I never thought about hunting before. Well, we're going to ease you into it. You know, we can go squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting for young people. I've secured some property. Because a lot of times guns are, you know, and I talk to a lot of kids, a lot of inner city kids around tough neighborhoods. Guns are to rob people, period. That's what they're for. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I, you know, when I talk to a principal, well, we're going to do outreach. Willard, I won't mention the school, but I did a career day at a career for law enforcement high school. And they called me the day before I went up there and said, Willard, you know, wonderful, all the stuff you're doing, but you can't discuss anything to do with guns.
Really?
I'm like, isn't it a law enforcement high school?
Yeah.
That was crazy to me. They had an incident, I guess, or something.
Huh.
But don't discuss. All my banners going to say hunting, it's in that order: hunting, shooting, fishing, boating, water safety. That's what we do. And they said you can talk about anything else, but do not mention anything about guns. So no guns, no shooting sports, no hunting. You know, and shooting sports can be archery. They don't relate that. You see what I mean?
Sure.
So I get it, and not that it surprised me, but the leader, the principal, like she may or may not have been a hunter or a gun person. So I hear this outdoor hunting guy coming. You tell him don't talk about anything to do with guns at my school. You see what I mean? So that's what I run up against. So depending on who's their leader, if they're not a hunter and shooter, they don't want you discussing that with their students.
Yeah.
But that shocked me. School district right here in Houston.
Yeah. Oh,
and they said no guns. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We find it more and more difficult to get outdoor education programs sustained in schools as well as introduced, especially introduced in some of the school districts where they don't have them. But we do work with some partners that do.
Mm-hmm. And it starts at the leadership, the principal. If the principal buys in, it's an easier sell. You know, and same thing with just the way I do. I'll show up at the school and teach kids how to cast, how to camp, how to outdoor cook, talk about conservation, and then I'll bring my safe archery, which is a big cushion archery that we use at elementary schools, right? With archery, you gonna bring bow and arrows to the school? Oh no! you see, you see, and so, but now I'm in front of these kids. I'm teaching them soft archery, and if you really want to get involved, here's our information. Give it to your mom and dad. Check us out. Check out our calendar. Yeah. We can teach you how to shoot real bow and arrows. You know, the Genesis bows, we have a full set of those. And, you know, and my actual hunting bow is 70 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good about 40 yards. I'm not bragging, but if a hog show up anywhere between 40 yards where I'm standing with that bow, he has a problem, you know.
Sure.
But that's our biggest issue. You have to work your way through the leaders. And then they can see, you know, what we do at the schools. The one principal tells the next principal that tells the next principal. I got a call today from Worthing High School, and they said, Willard, we would like for you to come over. And I haven't been doing much with HID with all the stuff going on with their HID.
Right.
And Worthing was my feeder school that I did a lot of outreach stuff with. And I got a call with them today that, hey, can you come over and talk to our kids? And Worthing, I tell you this, Worthing is not the school that you go talk to them about guns.
Sure.
In Sunnyside, the median income is $24,000.
Yeah.
Guns to them are for what?
Yeah.
The median income is $24,000. So those high school kids, a gun is something, you know. So I understand that, right? So we have to soft sell those things, and then we talk with the principal. If they are according, then we'll go from soft archery to real archery. Yeah. You know, hey, we do shooting sports. We do shooter. You know, I talked to an Olympic, a lady from my LinkedIn. I talked to a shooting. She went to the Olympics in rifle shooting, and although I've seen it, I know about it, and I've never actually talked. She wanted me to help her with look. She relocated, wanted me to help her with a job, outdoor job. And I said, hold on, what did you just say? So we spent 30 minutes just talking. How did you get? She got scholarships and sponsorships to go to school shooting.
Yep.
And she went to the Olympics about 10 years ago. I'm like, you think my school ever discussed that with anybody?
Sure. No, they don't.
We had no idea. Same thing with bass fishing. You can get a scholarship to bass fishing at certain schools. High school and colleges.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I grew up in North Louisiana, and University of Louisiana Monroe had one of the top bass fishing teams in the country, and they were, you know, like you said, I had no clue you could get a bass fishing scholarship, but it's highly competitive, and of course, there's money attached to it. There always is. It's highly competitive. You know, I want to change course here just a little bit, and I'm gonna get you to go back into your memories here just a little bit. I know you've dealt with a lot of people outdoors, taking them hunting and fishing on their first experiences. Let's talk about some of the kids. What is probably one of the experiences where you took a kid, a young man, young woman, hunting and fishing, and it really left an imprint on you? Where that experience, that interaction. Tell us a little bit about, if something comes to mind about one of those where you go, oh my gosh, you know, that's something that'll be in my memory and my heart forever.
So one of my best and success stories with taking young people outdoors, I was at Prairie View A&M, and I was with the Texas Parks and Wildlife with my friend Mary Carrier that just passed away. I was standing there with our fishing team out there before I even started their nonprofit, and she brought over a young man that had on jeans, boots, cowboy hat, and had a hook on it. And she brought him. Mr. Willard, I want to introduce you to Jaden White. He wants to be a game warden. And so I'm with the angler ed, archery education, actual game warden was there, fishing education. And I said, well, why are you bringing him to me? Because you're Detective Parks and Wildlife.
Right.
And that's when my light bulb went off. That was 5.5 years ago. And with Jaden White, he had that look. All the other kids had on tennis shoes and short pants and all that stuff. But it was freshman orientation day. And he's been my intern for 5 years. When I took him to his first duck hunt and let him shoot my semi-auto shotgun, and I got a video of it, it almost knocked him on his butt. Now he is leading my duck hunts by himself. He's mentoring other kids. He's volunteering. And when he met me, he said he wanted to become a Texas Parks and Wildlife game warden. He graduated from Prairie View. He was actually able to put in for the academy this year with Texas Parks and Wildlife. He ended up getting a flu, so he couldn't do his PT testing. But same thing I told Texas. By me socializing him on LinkedIn, he had 10 states ask him to apply to become a game warden interstate. I did all this work for this young man, but how many other people? I don't have 10 states calling me to say, Willard, can you promote outdoors in my state? Pennsylvania, Florida, Louisiana, the state of Washington, all reached out to me to him that Willard, have him apply at our state because we can use a black game warden. Who could? Just like the state of Texas is probably only 10 in the whole state that look like Jaden.
Yeah.
So out of all the kids, and I've gone through a lot of kids. I mean, lots of kids, but Jaden is that one. When I say, hey, come and help me volunteer, he's there. I told him, he said, Mr. Willard, how much is this going to cost me to do to be a part of your program? I said, it ain't going to cost you anything in cash, but my boat needs work. I need you to help me. I need you to volunteer. You see what I mean? So
Sure.
He spent no money to go to school. I got him 2 scholarships his last 2 years. You see, he was the first one to receive one of our scholarships, which was huge. So 2 years in a row. And then he was able, we sent him to take his captain's class. He got his captain's license. If you want to be a game warden, he's showing up with a captain's license, understanding boats. So I taught him all about boats, pistols. He's got more volunteer hours than anybody, real volunteer hours, than anybody in the entire state of Texas. He's probably the most well-known recruit of the 57th annual Game Warden Academy. And so out of all our kids, by me helping mentor him, he has the interest to do that, but he's one of 5. Mom, and I'll lay some information out. Mom lives in an apartment. He's the oldest of 5 kids. You think she can take him hunting, shooting, fishing, and being on a $100,000 boat as much as I was able to do?
No.
You see, and I understood that. I met his mom, and I said, I got him. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
And then the people around me saw what he was doing, and they took him under his wing. I had to be careful because people try to poach him from me. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Sure.
So I have another. So he's graduated now, but I have to replace him each year. I got more and more kids. They saw what we did for Jaden, and who wouldn't want to have that type of mentorship?
Sure. Yeah, especially especially if they don't have that role model at all in their life, and one of 5 kids. I don't care what family you're in. 1 of 5 kids, you're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Exactly. And like that, I couldn't pay him for anything, but if he needed gas money, I got him gas money. I didn't sweat that. I tell you what, one of the most impressive things, which he's done a lot. I got secured this ranch to go deer hunting, where we was allowed in Fredericksburg to MLD 10 deer. We had the game warden come out and talk to Jaden and all this. Jaden helped and showed all of our youth, 10 of them, how to quarter 10 deer. Wow. I just stood there and took pictures.
Yeah.
And maybe kept it from spinning. Jaden did that.
Yeah.
And how do you think he was able to accomplish that? Because of all our mentorship.
Right.
He led one hunt, I led the other hunt. My adult mentors, they petered out on me, and I'm like, well, Jaden, you have to step up to the plate. I may have funded him a little bit on that trip.
Right.
He worked so hard, But how many of us can say we quartered 10 deer in 5 days.
No, thank you. That's a lot.
You see?
Yeah.
That's a lot, and not only for him, but every youth that shot and harvested a deer, they had to help. Jaden didn't just do it for them. He showed them how to do it.
Mm.
You see? So we went from a Prairie View A&M student have the right look and that commitment till 5.5 years later doing all this. Besides fishing and talking to the other kids, when you see a young man like him, good-looking young man, by the way, and he had some green eyes, and girls come up and say, "Move out the way, old guy. I want to be the pretty." I'm going to just say this. I'm going to lay this out. They call him pretty eyes. I never had women tell me to get out the way because somebody was prettier than me standing there.
Yeah.
And the girls came over and say, "Move out the way, old guy. Let me see pretty eyes." So that's his new name that I call him.
That's funny.
So he is that kid. And so we have other young people, like Jada that we're part of, but he's the superstar, and he's what got me started. When Texas Parks and Wildlife said he wants to be a game warden, I'm like, why in the world would you tell me that?
Yeah.
That's when my light bulb went off. That's literally when my bulb went off. I said, I can do more for this young man than Texas can. And I have no money.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Then the state of Texas, you can't follow a game warden around for 5 years. You can't.
No.
Jaden was actually the youngest recruit ever to do a ride along with Texas Parks and Wildlife. How do you think that happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really competitive.
Sure.
And he's a young black male.
Mm-hmm.
And how hard was that?
Mm-hmm.
So out of all of our youth, and I have, I don't know, hundreds of them. They're in college now, and we've been with me for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for them to graduate, and I'm going to do the same thing for them. Whatever career they want to go into, I'm going to I say, I'll go get a LinkedIn account, and whatever field they want to go into, I'm going to post it, picture their history, and I want 10, 12, 30 states to come after them. I need a wildlife biologist. I need a migratory bird specialist, U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Jerome Ford knows who my other intern, Eric Copeland, that wants to be a migratory bird specialist, because I took him on his first duck hunt.
Right.
And he is now the president of DU at Prairie View A&M.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And Prairie View has a chapter of Ducks Unlimited. You probably didn't even know that.
No, had no clue.
And that's my intern. That's my intern. And who you think gonna take those kids duck hunting?
Nobody wants to imagine an emergency on a hunting trip, but when the unexpected happens, you want the team of medical and security experts at Global Rescue to be there for you. Global Rescue Operations Centers are staffed by experienced personnel, and you'll always speak to an expert on the first call. With unparalleled capabilities to transport members to their home hospital of choice, you'll get back to your preferred hospital, not the closest. So, trade what-ifs for peace of mind with convenient travel services designed for the unexpected. Learn more at globalrescue.com/hunting matters.
Gunworks is a Cody, Wyoming-based manufacturer and provider of premium long-range rifle systems, optics, components, and training. Since 2006, Gunworks has led the charge in innovating and engineering premium quality long-range shooting technology, equipment, and techniques with a singular goal of providing hunters the ability to achieve quick and effective one-shot kills at whatever distances shots are encountered. The Gunworks team is dedicated to service and perfection in purpose-built products ready for 1,000 yards out of the box. Learn more at gunworks.com. That's GUNWERKS.com. Hunting Matters is sponsored by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Under the visionary leadership of founder Johnny Morris, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's is leading North America's largest conservation movement. Together with their partners in conservation, they're positively shaping the future of the outdoors through donations, grant-making, and advocacy. The 501c3 Outdoor Fund raises funds to support conservation efforts by activating more than 200 million passionate sportsmen and women, rounding up their purchases in Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores and online. Visit BassPro.com or Cabela's.com today.
Being on a shooting team provides our youth with valuable life skills like confidence, responsibility, and leadership. However, most of the nation's youth shooting teams have little or no funding. The Midway USA Foundation is a 501c3 public charity working to sustain and grow the shooting sports industry by providing long-term funding to thousands of these teams, probably one in your community. Learn how the Midway USA Foundation is changing the future of youth shooting sports. Visit MidwayUSAFoundation.org.
Hey, I'm Trace Atkins, and if you grew up hunting like me, you know the importance of sound, or more importantly, silence. Every step, every breath, every move gets made with purpose. Silencers control the noise, and thanks to Silencer Central, buying one is now easier than ever. Plus, Silencer Central ships straight to your front door. Visit silencercentral.com/simple to see how you can get silence delivered.
Let me ask you this, Willard. You do a lot. You got a lot of things, a lot of plate spinning. Are there other Willard Franklin IIIs out there?
Yes. I've learned to, I had no idea I was pretty much the Lone Ranger at this. They all at different levels are, some people specialize in hunting. Some people specialize in fishing. Some people specialize in shooting. Some people may specialize in boating, water safety. I can tell you this right now. It's nobody in the entire United States can specialize in all those hunting, shooting, fishing, boating, water safety sports on a national platform. And I'm going to just lay it out. I'm going to tap myself on the shoulder.
Right.
There's nobody, and I can guarantee you this, that look like me doing those 5 different deals. And the reason that I can say that, I'm a safety professional by trade. I talk to people for a living. That's what I do. I motivate people to work safely. So that's simple and easy. You say, go, just move out the way. I can go all day.
Yeah.
So I've learned to pass my skills and my knowledge and the way I have to motivate adults to wear their freaking safety glasses, wear their PPE, put on their harness. You see what I mean? How hard is that?
Right.
And I explained to them, it will kill you. You lose your eye. You can lose your finger. All the safety rules for adults. The OSHA rules and regulations. Yeah. And I take what I've learned doing all that to motivate adults to do the right thing.
Right.
To teach the kids all about, and we always start off with our safety message, outdoor safety first, and then we do everything else. You're going to get a speech. Right. So we do boater safety. We do a national boater safety campaign, water safety, so that's a lot of ground to cover. And I've learned over the years, and I've been fishing for 57 years. I've been a boater for 30. And I took what I've learned in safety and integrated in all these sports. You're not going shooting with me, but people call me, Willard, I want to go to go kill some hogs. You don't need a hunting license to go kill a hog. You don't need to take hunter ed to go kill a hog in Texas. But you think you can just show up with me one day and say, let's go kill a hog? No.
Right.
I said, well, I don't have to take hunter ed. Well, you don't have to take it according to the state of Texas, but according to the state of Willard, you're going to take hunter education, and you're going to go to the gun range with me. Now, I talked to a guy today. He saw my big truck. He's like, what do you do? I said, that's what I do for outdoors. He said, I want to learn how to hunt. I said, look here, I can teach you how to hog hunt, but you cannot manipulate your AR, and I'm not going to take anybody with an AR. You're going to have a boat action. You have to understand how to work that gun in complete darkness. Can you do that? No, I never did it. How many people ever shot a gun in complete darkness with a thermal?
Yeah.
Not many. You see? So you have to understand where that safety is at 100% of the time and how to turn it on and how to turn it off. That's a problem when we got one shot to take, we may be, we try to shoot 2 hogs at one time because they take off.
Right.
And we're done. But we 1, 2, 3, pow. But you better be ready to go because we'll go 1, 2, 3, click.
Yeah.
My gun go pow. Your gun going like, what happened? Well, and you can't turn on your flashlight to see when we set up to shoot some hogs. You just can't.
Right.
Well, and so we have that serious discussion about how it makes stuff happen.
Well, you said something interesting that caught my attention. No ARs, but rather bolt action. As a hunter, I'm horrible, so I'm all about quantity over quality shots. I just shoot 7-8 times in a specific direction. Is that why? Does that teach the one shot, one kill?
No offense to you. We shooting at other people's property. So number one, we have to respect the landowner. Some of the properties are 80, 250 acres, those type of things. But I've been with a lot of people. We stomping in the woods, You know, and I tell you, just like with our shotguns, but we're stomping in the woods at night in the dark. Can you trip over something?
Mm-hmm.
Are you proficient enough to not to ever have that finger on the trigger walking around at night? Are you 100% certain that gun is on safety the entire time?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so for entry level beginner outdoor people, I have Savage 270. I just ordered 2 Savage 308 boat action, stainless steel boat action. They're about $500, right? They with the scope, out the scope. My gun is Browning Expo. It's and so that's what I use. But I ordered a 308 AR with a thermal. You know, it's going to be a $4,000 gun. I can't put that in a beginner shooter hands because who can replicate a $4,000 gun with a thermal, right? But they're not proficient enough. The 308 is going to carry 20 rounds. I don't have 20 rounds in it. We'll get a herd. I don't know what you call pigs in a big, but it's a herd. If you call them herds of pigs, that's not what you said. We may get 10 pigs to show up at the feeder on the property, but with the landowners, so they can feel comfortable, take away the liability. I'm only going to shoot the same gun that they shoot, the same thermal. I have dual everything, 2 of everything. So the 308s will be set up exactly the same way. We will go to the gun range before. You know, they'll take hunter ed. We'll practice gun safety. You'll learn where the safety is on, safety off. And then with my Savages, I have some Savage 22s that are built exactly like the 308s, the full size. So they'll practice as long as they want with the 22 to get proficient, to learn their breathing, to learn their trigger pull, get all that stuff done. But when we go hunting, you got one opportunity.
Sure.
Because I was not coming. Once you make that one shot, that's done. And no offense, I don't want to quarter 8 hogs.
Yeah.
You see, but if they're under 100 pounds, we gonna put some really work in that. You know, shooting them is the easy part.
Sure.
But you know, taking care of them after that. But you know, the hogs the property that we're going to, hogs are easily 300 pounds. It'll be 5 or 6 of them that come out.
Yeah, it's sometimes harder to get them under that optimal weight that you want for butchering.
Right. And so, you know, if you just shoot a hog in the butt with a 308, it's going to take off running. You're never going to find it.
Yeah.
So they have to become proficient. You know, so take your time, take your breath. When you're and we'll take 2 shots. If it's just one hog, both kids going to shoot at the hog 1, 2, 3. And we're not fighting over who I shot them. If there's 2 holes in them, one hole's in it because you only get 1 shot. And I just real quickly, we took a group of 10 kids to Matagorda on I call it Hog Island, but a private island on the boat. Black kids with their dads with 30 R6s, and we harvested a hog and we processed it there on the island from a boat. And we showed up back at the boat ramp at the cleaning station, all dressed in camo. That was just last month with all these kids. And what do you think the fishermen around us saw? They never seen that before. You don't see that ever.
I bet that
I'm outdoors all the time.
I bet that was a sight to see. Well, listen, man, we're going to have to wrap it up here, but I got to tell on you a little bit. I keep up with your social media, and I know you're out there doing all this hunting and fishing and doing all this stuff, but Ramon and I are foodies, and I see you sliding up in these places, these mom and pop restaurants and all this good cooking and pictures of food and stuff. So if Ramon and I were out and about in South Texas somewhere, what would be one of your definite places we would need to stop into?
Well, I just like eating. You know, the biggest part of that I have to eat. I find, you know, you can go to all the chain restaurants, but for me, I look at eclectic mom and pop places, and the key for me is how many cars are there after the lunch crowd is there.
Yep,
that's how I find it. Right. So yeah, I get it. You'll see a ton of cars at lunchtime from 11:30 to 12:30, 1 o'clock. Yeah. I roll up again. I'm busy, so I roll up around 2:30 before dinner rush, before lunch rush. And if you have cars in that parking lot, that's the place to be.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's my rule of thumb when I'm driving. You know, even if I've never been there and never did the research on it, that's how I figure out where I want to stop and try. And you'll see. I don't play when it comes to eating.
Yeah. Yeah,
I work hard and I eat good.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching you, man. I keep up with you. Willard Franklin III, the CEO of 4W's Fishing Team and 4W Outdoors. Check out their website. That's 4wsoutdoors.com. It's FOURWS outdoors.com. Willard, once again, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production, hosted by HSCF Executive Director Joe Bitar and Ramon Robles. Produced by Ramon Robles. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.